Hare Krishna. Today I would like to discuss the topic of evidence. Many times you have people asking in a rather not modest fashion, what's the evidence for a God? What's the evidence for God? Yeah. And then when you ask these people, do you actually understand what evidence means, what it is? Many times they don't. This is very interesting. So, pretty arrogantly, or sometimes very arrogantly, they have this what's the evidence? Yes, not even understanding what they're talking about. So, they claim a huge monopoly on evidence, but they haven't got a clue what they're talking about. So, then when you ask, do you actually know what evidence means, what it is? Then many don't, and some do. Some say, yeah, it has to repeat itself. Then you can present the evidence. And this, as a general principle, is very true because these days one works with a lot with chance calculation, yes, but also with the principle of observation, theory, experiment, demonstration. So when you have an experiment demonstration of something which has happened before, yeah, so then you have the original observation, occurrence, and then you have the experiment and the demonstration, then you have the repetition. So this is what is generally being accepted as evidence. Although in the judicial spheres, this becomes very, very difficult because when a person has murdered another person or is a suspect that he has murdered that other person, how to present repetition? That becomes pretty tough. Yes. So, nevertheless, as a general principle, the repetition principle has to be there, and then people accept it. That they call the scientific method. Yeah, testable um, uh, method to show reality according to them. Reality. They don't understand anything about reality, but they call it reality. It's all managerial thinking. But okay, for the sake of discussion, we'll accept it. So, potatoes you cook at 7 minutes. That's a general principle, and it is based upon very much upon repetition. Yeah, you check it out. You cook them at 7 minutes, and again you cook them at 7 minutes, and after a week you cook them at 7 minutes. Still working. So potatoes you cook at 7 minutes. So there you have the repetition, you have the evidence, you have the law. But, and this is also very true, that you exactly cook your potatoes at 7 minutes, well, you check it out. Yeah, not very easy. And yesterday you also cooked potatoes, but same shape potatoes? No. Same amount of water you've used? No. And the atmosphere in your kitchen, in terms of the water elements in the kitchen and the air, because there is a ratio, you cook and you have the water and you have the atmosphere in your kitchen, same as yesterday, that ratio? No. So where's the repetition? Yes. So it's a managerial level of thinking. It's not the scientific level. When you have scientific understanding, you have knowledge which is always correct. And this is not the case with these laws. Yeah. It's always relative. Also with these potatoes. When you go to planet Saturn, you have to cook them for 700 hours. Otherwise, they're not really al dente. Yeah, still pretty rocky. But when you go to planet Pluto, you better not cook them for any longer than 7 nanoseconds, because otherwise you start radiating. And not only potatoes, you also. So again, you can understand all these variables. So where's the constant? It's not there. Yeah. And in fact, in time and space, you don't have any repetition. It is non-existent. Where do you see repetition in time and space? Nowhere. It does not exist. So you can really understand it's the managerial level of thinking, has got nothing to do with science, but many people, they have this very huge claim, this is science. Yeah, total utter nonsense. Managerial level of thinking, and that is what many people are very much preoccupied with. So from that perspective, yes, they enter the discussion. What's the evidence for a God? Yes. Now, evidence in itself is the support for a statement. That's it. Whether you accept the statement and the support for it, that's always up to you. Yeah. We're persons, we're individuals. So there is no monopoly on evidence. It's total utter nonsense. But many people have that huge, very false, and very childish claim, the monopoly on evidence. This wannabe dictatorial nature is very funny, but you meet it a lot in places like the Netherlands. A lot. Yes. Not only the Netherlands, of course, but definitely in the Netherlands, you have many of these people, these wannabe dictatorial fools, with their huge demand of what's the evidence, not even understanding the principle of evidence. Very funny. So the support for a statement. So the support for the statement that God is there is not very difficult because God is the supreme whole, the absolute truth. If you see anything other than God, you're wrong. Yes, basically, not very difficult. Whether you accept that or not, well, that's up to you. So then you have these people and they say, oh, so a tree or a mountain is God. Yes, because that's what I see. Well, the fact is, when you isolate and you fragment that mountain or tree from the rest, you're always wrong. You're always wrong. Yes, because then you live in the managerial sphere, isolating and fragmenting. No, no, it's the supreme whole, absolute truth, time space movement continuum. That is God. Yes, the that which is. Yeah. And of course, then people can reject that. Of course, they can. That's your freedom. Yeah. So, but that's the support for the statement of God. You can also say, well, you have these scriptures and they explain that God is there. Again, well, I don't accept that. That's just written by people. So I reject it. Yes. So always you have that freedom to reject. Yeah. So evidence is a very, very personal acceptance, a personal, what you consider evidence. Yes. Now, certain things are very obvious, so called, and other things are not very obvious, so called. Has to do with your intelligence. Yeah. So when you're narrow minded, tunnel vision, you will never ever come to understand the absolute truth because you prefer the la la lands of your deluded mind. And well, that is your freedom. No problem whatsoever. Yeah. But the evidence is staggering. It's huge. Also, for instance, you can say, well, you may be very successful and very wonderful and a great person, really. But hey, dude, after some time, death. You like it, you don't like it, it will happen. So, this is, for instance, what Bhagavad Gita states. Mritu sarva haraschaham. Krishna states, I am all devouring death. So you may be very happy with your existence, and you also may be arrogant, not be interested in the absolute truth. Of course, that is your choice, definitely. But God is also time, and God is also death. So perhaps, some modesty is reasonable. Yes. And then perhaps some more thinking you do, and then you come to the conclusion, well, a higher force is not unreasonable to conclude. And perhaps I should show some interest in that. So, yeah, take some time, some thinking, some reasonability. Yeah. But of course, many people, they will enter their graves having remained very stubborn. That's okay. They will get next temporary machines, next temporary bodies until they have learned, so no problem. And of course, there is other evidence, not only evidence, but hard proof. And that is the proof is in the eating of the pudding. You have to apply. That also is a very normal principle, very accepted principle. Yeah. When you enter a relationship, intimate relationship, you don't know before whether that relationship will be very wonderful, but you have faith that that relationship will bring you something. So you enter the relationship. If you succeed in that, of course, the other person has to agree on that. But then you have to experience in the practical reality whether that dreamland of yours will come true. Same thing when you go to an educational institution. Yeah, you have faith, you have trust that you going to that institution will bring you something. Same thing when you buy real estate, a new bicycle, doesn't matter. Yeah, you have faith, you have some trust that it will bring you something positive. Same thing with developing God consciousness. Yeah, first you have faith, you have trust that you conclude, well, a higher force, very reasonable, and actually I'm very interested also, to be honest. So then you start practicing spiritual life. You start reviving your lost relationship with the Supreme. And then not only the evidence is there, but the hard proof is there. Yeah. The only thing is you have to go for it. That's all. Why would you not do it? Because material life, very boring, very unfulfilling. Spiritual life, total happiness, not a boring moment anymore in your life, and you reach total perfection. Nice proposal, isn't it? So, well, thank you very much for listening to this topic regarding evidence and enjoy the rest of your day. And perhaps till next time, Hare Krishna, Hare Bo.